Hello, everyone. So my name is Radhika Longbottom, and I'm here with my colleague, and his name is Raymond.
Hello, everyone.
So what Raymond and I do is that we are recruitment officers for the university. I am responsible for GB and Raymond is responsible for Northern Ireland. So today's seminar is the start of a series that we are going to present to yourselves. And the idea of these seminars really is to go over and introduce you to student life at Queen's. So we are not going to talk about what goes on in the classroom. The idea of today's seminar and the series is to really talk about everything outside of the classroom. Now we understand that it is a very difficult time. It is an unprecedented time. But when you choose to go to university, we understand that it's literally not just a degree that you're choosing to study. There's so much more that university life can offer you. And we hope that through today's seminar, we'll be able to give you a little flavor for what you can expect. You know, you're going to be away from home for probably the first time in your life. You're probably going to be away from friends and family for the first time in your life. But the great thing about university is that you're going to meet lots of new people. You're going to make lots of new friends. You're going to discover Belfast, which is a fantastic city. You're probably going to take up new hobbies. If you're a sporting kind of person, you might decide that you want to excel in the sport that you're interested in, or you might decide to take up a new sport. But more than anything else, we hope that the degree will help you to develop your career prospects as well. So how we're going to do this presentation is I'm going to do the first bit. Raymond will jump in as and when, and then he's going to do the latter part of the presentation. So let me start off by talking to you about Belfast. As you probably know, it's got a fantastic history. It is the artistic and political hub. It is a capital city. And as such, it gives you a fabulous quality of life. As a student in the city, what you will be pleased to know is that it has one of the lowest cost of livings in the UK. But within sort of the whole of the Northern Ireland, what is great about Belfast is that you have the opportunity to go to fabulous places like the Giant's Causeway. Now, if you're a Game of Thrones fans, there is an opportunity to go and visit all the different locations in Northern Ireland. But I'm a Line of Duty fan. And what I find is when I'm watching the program, there are bits of Belfast that I sort of get very excited about and go, I know that place, I've seen it. So there's a lot going on in Belfast, just beyond, you know, the beautiful nature that it offers. Many of you are probably joining us from Northern Ireland itself, or the Republic of Ireland, or Europe. And for those people that are joining us from the island of Ireland, you will probably know this. There are excellent road and rail links to get to us. Commuting within Belfast is also very, very convenient. But for those of you that are coming and joining us from GB, it is a very, very short flight. You're talking about an hour. I am based here in the southeast of England in Berkshire. My nearest airport is in Heathrow. I leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning. I get the 7 o'clock flight. At 8:30, I'm at my desk. So what I want to say is that Belfast is really easily accessible from various parts of GB. There are ferries available as well, apart from flying. So there are different means of transport. It's not going to break the bank. And as I will cover later on, we do offer scholarships that do cover your travel expenses. We have 2 airports in Belfast. We've got a city airport, which is literally 15 minutes drive from the university. And then the international airport is a modest 35-minute drive away. So let me talk to you about Belfast. As I've said to you before, university life is very much about sort of living within the city as well. So what we want to do is to maybe give you a flavor for what to expect from your time here. It is a superb cultural hub. People are extremely friendly, and there is an amazing history. And to that end, I would just like to maybe show you a little video to give you a flavor for what to expect from your time at Belfast. Right, so I hope that you found that video useful and you had a little flavor of what to expect. So just to give you a brief idea, Belfast obviously is the capital of Northern Ireland, so it doesn't, it is a beautiful city, and you're not compromising your lifestyle in any way. It is very, very compact. You can get from A to B very quickly. So for example, I'm not very tall, but I get from the university to the city centre, and that building behind those young people there is the town hall. I can walk up from the university to the town hall in about 20 minutes max. The people are extremely friendly, and right on our doorstep, right by the university, we've got Ulster Museum, we've got the Botanic Gardens, and down in the city, there's obviously the City Hall, the picture that you can see behind, but then there's lots of different, sort of the Cathedral Quarter, the Museums Quarter. There is so much to go out and investigate and find out and get to know within Belfast, but all within a very easy reach. Excellent nightlife. I won't labor on about it, but we understand that it's not just about studying hard. It's not just about going to classes. It's not just about spending time at university. You need a release. You need to go out and socialize. And Belfast offers you absolutely everything that you need for a good night out, whether you're interested in traditional pubs or whether you're interested in Irish music, live music, sports bars, nightclubs. It's all there. It's all waiting for you to go and find out and get discovered, really. When it comes to shopping, we've got large shopping centres that have all the big high street brands. But my personal favorite is St. George's Market. I like it because it's quirky. I like it because it's small. People are very friendly. I like the sort of market trader vibe about it. There's plenty of fresh food, meat, fish, vegetables. But there's also some very amazing, quirky little cafes and food outlets, but arts and crafts, antiques places. My fervent advice to you would be, as soon as you come over, make sure that you get yourself down to St. George's Market. You will absolutely love it. So now that we've done the city, you know, the university is quite an important part of the city. We feel that we are the heart of the city. We play a very important role, both politically as well as, you know, from an academic point of view. And as a student to Queen's, many of you have already applied, but for those of you who haven't applied, it's important that you understand that when you choose to come to Queen's, you're coming to a university that is very, very well established, has an excellent academic reputation, has an excellent research reputation. We are well ranked. We are the 9th oldest in the UK. And we also have a very international outlook, and we're very proud of that. Now, Raymond will cover this in a greater detail later on, you know, the international connection and the international opportunities you have. But we feel that having this international edge means that you get a very international outlook, both in your studies, in terms of your opportunities, but also if you do decide to go and work or study abroad, you have a degree from a university that is very, very well recognized and has an outstanding reputation. And last but not the least, we're also a member of the Russell Group. Now, those of you that do know, the Russell Group consists of 24 leading universities in the UK. You might like to call it the Ivy League, perhaps, of UK. And it has what makes the Russell Group really stand out from the rest of 160 universities in UK and NI is the fact that we have a very strong academic achievement. As a student, what that means is that you're probably going to have to get very good grades to get into one of the Russell Group universities. But what that translates into is that when you apply for jobs, employers, HR individuals are going to know that you have gone to a university that has very high standards. We maintain the very best research. Again, as a student, how that translates to you is that you will be taught by academics who are at the top end of their career and their subject. The research will lead the teaching, so you will be learning the latest in terms of any subject that you decide to study. We are also more often than not ranked outstanding when it comes to teaching and learning. Again, what that means to you is you're going to be taught by excellent teachers and you're going to have access to top class facilities. And last but not the least, where the Russell Group really stands out is because of their strong links with business as well as the private sector industry. And again, that translates into job opportunities for you. Now, before I move on to the next slide, I just want to give you a brief sort of introduction to the university. Now, many of you might have visited the campus, but for those of you who haven't visited the campus, you know, this is, I hope that this is a good opportunity for you to have a good view of what the university looks like. So I hope that gave you a good idea of what to expect from the university itself. We are not necessarily a campus university, but what you'll find is that you can get from A to B within, say, 10 minutes. So the next part of sort of life at university, and a very important part of life at university, really is about managing your money, managing your finances. Again, as I said before, we understand that this is a difficult time. You're probably going to be away from home, from people who advise you about money and things like that on your own. So what we're hoping to do now is to just quickly look at what university finance is all about. Before I get there, what I do want to emphasize once again is that Northern Ireland, and particularly Belfast, is probably one of the cheapest places to live in terms of student costs in the UK. In terms of a direct comparison with London, we're almost £5,000 cheaper in terms of the cost of living. If you decided to go to Scotland, for example, to study, Scottish degrees are 4-year degrees. So again, by choosing to come to Belfast, by choosing to come to Queen's University, you're going to save yourself a year's tuition and cost of living. So in terms of managing your finances, you probably know this, but just to reiterate, there are several aspects to it. You've got your tuition fee, which is available from our website, details of which can be found there. Then there is the maintenance cost, or the living cost side of things. Most of you will be entitled to be getting a loan to cover that amount. But beyond that, you know, managing your money also could be that you're entitled to additional support. Now, if you're a carer, if you're disabled, you know, there are additional means of support that you are entitled to. But apart from all of this, what we like to think in terms of reducing the burden of your costs or your outgoings, we offer a number of scholarships here at Queen's, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague Raymond, who will talk to you about our scholarships for undergraduate students now.
Thank you very much, Radhika. Yes, we recognise that for some of you going to university, it can be a bit of a financial strain, and so we want to reward people that have worked really hard or are achieving excellence at the moment. And there's a number of ways in which we do that. One of them is through our entrance scholarship competition. So this is open to any students who gain at least 3 A's at A level. You would then be eligible to enter the competition. And through it, you would receive financial rewards of between £600 and £2,400. Now that is money you have earned because of your hard work. So it's up to you what you do with it. We're not going to stipulate what you spend your money on. You could choose to spend it on accommodation when you get to university. You could choose to spend it on books and equipment. You could choose to go on a shopping spree in Belfast, wonderful shopping complexes. It's totally up to you. You've earned the money, spend it on what you want. If you are competing in a high level in sport, we also offer a number of sports scholarships. All our sports scholarships actually offer various financial rewards. But with the elite athlete program, this is for people that have a proven record of success at junior or senior international level, or if you've participated in an Olympic Games or a World or European Championships, you would be eligible for the elite athlete program. Through it, as well as the financial rewards, you also receive some academic flexibility. So if you have a really big competition coming up or a big match, you would be able to liaise with your tutors and your lecturers, and you may be given some academic flexibility in the lead up to your big event. You also receive strength and conditioning support, sports medicine support, physiotherapy support. So all those things that allow you to continue to perform at the top level. If you have a proven level of success in one of the 5 priority sports at Queen's, then you would be acceptable for the academic scholarship. The 5 priority sports are rugby, hockey, soccer, GAA, and rowing. So if you're performing at a high level in any of those, you may be eligible for the academy scholarship. And then finally, if you have a proven record of success in any other sport, you may be eligible for one of our sports bursaries. So there's lots of opportunities for you to get some support if you are excelling in your academic field, or if you're excelling in the sports field. And I'll just hand you back to Radhika, who will chat to you about a scholarship we have available for students from GB.
Thank you, Raymond. So the scholarships that we have for students from GB are really very, very simple. They are available in two formats. The first format involves a fee reduction, and it's just a standard fee reduction. And the second format, the option 2, really is one that has a fee reduction as well as a number of lifestyle and accommodation benefits. Details of the terms and conditions of our scholarship are available on our website, but I just quickly want to touch on one or two things of note here. The duration of the scholarship, the maximum duration is 3 years. So for example, if you're doing an M.Pharm course or if you're doing an M.Eng course, which is a 4-year degree, then the scholarship will only cover you for the first 3. The second thing is that, as you probably noticed over there, this scholarship is available for the 2020 entry. Medicine and dentistry are not included in the scholarship, and one of the reasons for it really is the NHS funding agreement that we have in place. Now, as you can see from this slide, the scholarship is based on achieving certain grades. So higher the grades, more the amount of money that you will get as a fee reduction. So for example, should you achieve AAB or equivalent at your A-levels, then your tuition fee will be reduced by £2,500, and it is a sliding scale. The next option that we have, which is the more popular option with our students, is that should you get the same grades, which is 2 A's and a B, you will get £1,750 off your tuition fee and then a range of benefits. Now, how we've designed the benefits is that in the first year, to help your transition to Belfast, there are a number of benefits that are directly related to that. So for example, we'll ship your luggage for you, we'll upgrade your accommodation, we'll give you a kitchen and a bedding pack. And then there are other benefits that continue for all 3 years. So for example, we will give you a check to cover 3 flights home at least. We will give you movie passes to Queen's Film Theatre, and we'll also give you a sports membership at an off-peak rate. So those are the 2 scholarship options that are available for our GB students. I now want to move on to sort of the support side of things. As I said to you before, we understand that this is a completely new environment for you. It is an unprecedented time at the minute, and we want to reassure you that all of us here at Queen's are here to support you in every which way that we can. Academically, you will have support in the form of a personal tutor who will be allocated to you when you start your course. You also have peer-to-peer support, so another student helping you out with your academic side of things via the SU. Now, before I sort of go on about this, I just would like to hand over to Raymond, who will probably cover all of those areas. For example, the career side of things, the Students' Union, the facilities and the infrastructure. So Raymond, would you like to take over from here on?
Yes, thank you very much for that, Radhika. Yeah, as Radhika said there, the student life is of course about studying, but we want you to also relax and socialize and have fun as well. And in order to do that, we have invested heavily in our facilities. In the last 10 years, we've invested £350 million, and we're going to match that in the next 10 years and invest a further £350 million. We do have a real mix of beautiful historic buildings, such as the Lanyon building that you'll have seen in the background of that photograph. But we do have some up-to-date and modern buildings as well. And you'll have seen that through the video that Radhika showed you, where it was a footage of campus. So as well as having the mix of history and the modern facilities, we have a number of tech-savvy facilities available to you. We have a large number of interactive lecture theatres. We have a Sonic Arts Research Centre. There are a number of film studios on campus. We have some flight simulators for our aerospace engineering students, and various state-of-the-art computer suites that you can avail of. But on top of that, there are a number of light and airy and spacious areas for students to just hang out and relax and get to know each other. One of the main ones is probably our Students' Union, and that is up and running at the moment. But at the same time, we're also building a brand new Students' Union complex. We have the MCCLAY Library, which I'll speak to you a wee bit about later. And within that library, there are various things, like we have a cafe, which is a really nice touch for the library. There's also what we call our main site tower. And in our main site tower, we have a wellbeing room where you can go and just chill out and chat to people. And we also have various areas where you can hang out and socialize with friends, and a number of cafes. And there are other cafes around campus that you can avail of as well. In terms of accommodation then, so first year undergraduate students would be guaranteed a place in Queen's accommodation. So it means if you're coming from Enniskillen or Cookstown or Coleraine or Ballycastle, or across in England or Scotland or Wales, or even further afield, there is a room here for you. We have 3 accommodation complexes. They're called Elms BT1, Elms BT2, and Elms BT9, or it's sometimes called Elms Village. And the name of those are just based on the postcode of where they are around Belfast. So Elms BT1 and BT2 are right in the city centre, and Elms BT9 is slightly outside the city, about a 20 to 30 minute walk. There are over 3,400 different rooms available, and they're priced between £75 if you're sharing with someone, up to £149 per week. Now, the rent actually includes a number of different things. It includes all your utility bills. So electricity, heating, hot water is all covered. It covers your high-speed broadband Wi-Fi. Your contents insurance is covered within your rent. So any belongings that you bring into your room, they are covered and insured through the rent. There's also, we pay for a TV license in the communal areas within accommodation blocks. There is 24-hour security on all our accommodation blocks, so you're able to go to bed knowing that you're safe and secure. And a really good thing is that there's a postal service. So if you're ordering things from Amazon or anywhere on the internet, it will be sorted for you at reception, and you can just go pick it up there. Basically, we do everything for you. The only thing you need to do is feed yourself. We've got the rest covered. And as you already know, because Northern Ireland has the lowest student cost of living, it makes for a pretty good deal to stay in our accommodation. Another brilliant feature about our accommodation blocks is that they all have residential life officers. So these are people who are either employed by the university or are current students, and they're there to help you settle in to university life and settle into living in accommodation. If you have any issues with your room or anything that's going on, you can go and speak to them. Or if you just want a wee bit of advice on how to meet people or get involved in different activities, they can help you with that as well. This just gives you an example of some of the things that went on in Elms BT1 a few weeks ago. So on Monday night, they had karaoke. On the Wednesday, they had a gym class. On the Thursday, there was a quiz. And then at the weekends, they often organise trips to different areas around Belfast and further afield. So on Saturday, there was a trip to Sleep Donard, which is a mountain range in Northern Ireland. And also on the Sunday, there was a trip to Belfast Zoo. And I also know that the residential life officers also organise trips to IKEA at the start of the year, so you can get your room all kitted out before people start to come and visit you. In terms of the prices there, I briefly spoke about that, but just to outline it to you, there are various rooms that you can choose. So £75 if you're sharing with someone, £110 for a standard room. If you would like an ensuite room, it is £124. And if you want a studio, so that's your bedroom, living area, kitchen, kind of all in one, it would be £149 per week. The really great thing about Queen's accommodation is that you would only pay for the time that you stay in the accommodation blocks. So for example, if you choose to go home during the summer, you would take out a 38-week contract. And it means that you don't have to pay for those summer months when you're not actually living in Belfast. If you chose to rent privately in Belfast, you would have to take a 52-week tenancy, and then that obviously would increase the price, and you would be paying for time that you're not actually in the city. If you want to stay in Queen's accommodation over the summer, that's absolutely fine as well. You can extend your contract to 52 weeks if that's what you choose to do. One of our facilities that we're really proud of, and we think we hope you'll spend a lot of time in it, is our library. The MCCLAY library is the main library at Queen's, and it's used by over 10,000 students every day. Now, this isn't a library that you'll think of where there's dusty books and it's dark and dingy. This is a really spacious, you can see from the picture there's loads of windows so light can get in. There are areas where you can do group work. There are areas where you can work on your own. There are obviously quiet areas. There are a number of state-of-the-art computer suites. So it's the perfect environment for you to learn and do your studying. There are also a large number of special collections. So that includes things like books and maps, photographs, and different manuscripts dating back all the way to the 12th century. And you can use those for personal use or to enhance your studies. And there's also a dedicated language centre. So if you have an urge to learn a new language, whether it be part of your course or you just want to extend your knowledge, you can do that through the language centre in the library. And they also allow you to learn sign language, which is a really popular course. And probably my favourite thing about the library is the C.S. Lewis room. So C.S. Lewis was a famous author who wrote a number of books, and he's from Northern Ireland. He wrote the Screwtape Letters, Prince Caspian, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, just to name a few. And the room within the library that is dedicated to C.S. Lewis, the door to that room is actually based on the wardrobe door from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So if nothing else, it's a really cool thing to go and see. Sport at Queen's is so important to us. We recognise that sport can not only help you to meet new people and help you physically, but it can really have a positive impact on your mental health and well-being. And we would really encourage you to get involved in sport as much as you can. You don't have to be an elite athlete, like I spoke about earlier. You can get involved in sport at Queen's at any level. We have a number of indoor facilities, the main one being the PEC, or the Physical Education Centre. Within the Physical Education Centre, there's a state-of-the-art gym and weights area. There are over 100 weekly exercise classes. So if you want to get involved in exercise with a friend or a family member or a couple of people on your course, you can do that through the exercise classes. Or you can go on your own and just meet new people that way. There's a 25-metre swimming pool and a sauna attached to that. And there's also climbing walls, squash courts, badminton courts. So much for you to get involved in at the PEC. Also, I'll speak about our student clubs later, but a lot of the sporting clubs would also take place in the PEC. In Elm's BT1 accommodation, there also is a brand new gym that has opened, and they host 20 weekly exercise classes as well in there. And in terms of our outdoor facilities, so if you're involved in a lot of the team sports, so things like GAA, soccer, rugby and hockey, all those sports take place at Upper Malone playing fields. And we also have a boathouse where you would be able to participate in rowing. Like I said, we're really proud about the sporting programme at Queen's, and this next video just gives you a bit of an outline as to how you can get involved in sport at Queen's.
The Participation Sport programme at Queen's aims to get students and staff at all levels involved in forms of physical activity, social sport and fitness here at Queen's.
I think if you just come to one of the programmes, you see how much fun and enjoyment everyone's having, and you realise it's a big step to take at the start, but once you do, I don't think there's any going back. We use the terminology, find your level. Whether you're a performance athlete, we want you to come and play at Queen's, or whether you're someone that has just decided they want to get fit in and they're not sure how to, that's when they fall into Active Campus.
Our Active Campus programme has delivered over 35 different initiatives this year, engaged with over 4,000 students and staff, from our Couch to 5K programmes through to our intramural social sport activities, right up until some mass participation events like our Queen's 5K race or swimathon, come and try events as well. This new investment in facilities at BT1 have given us all a drive to work better and closer together, along with our colleagues in accommodation, with the Students' Union, student wellbeing teams, to really create a truly active campus.
We're delighted with our facilities down here in BT1. It's been great feedback from the students. They can access these world-class facilities on their doorstep. Through our class programme at Queen's, we try and engage as many of our staff and students as possible. We support initiatives like Mental Health Awareness Week, International Women's Day, and we work very closely with disability and wellbeing services and Student Plus in general, just to try and engage as many young people as possible. We run about 100 classes and courses per week at Queen's, And now with the new added timetable at BT1, we're up to about 120 classes per week. There's a great community, who participate in our classes, and regardless of your ability, you can improve, and you can then filter into some of our club programs or social sport development clubs, and you can take that as far as you want.
Sport has a real positive role to play in opening our arms out to welcome everyone, no matter what background, to Queen's.
So hopefully from that will have inspired you that when you decide to come to Queen's, you will get involved in some sort of sporting activity. The next thing I'm going to look at is our Students' Union. Again, we're so proud of our Students' Union. They allow people to really fulfill their time in university. And yes, it's about studying, but you want to experience new things, meet new people, and get involved in things that you've never done before. And you can do that through our Students' Union. Their motto is that they're your rock, making your life at Queen's enriching, rewarding, and fun. And that is what it's all about. You'll get an amazing experience if you choose to join the Students' Union. They're currently ranked 7th in the UK for student experience. And a couple of the key aspects of the union, one is our enterprise unit. This is for people that want to develop their business skills. If you have a budding business idea that maybe has nothing to do with your course, but you want to try and do that outside of your studies, the union can help you with that. And they do it through a number of different workshops that they do. And they also run a number of events throughout the year, things like Apprentice or Dragon's Den style events, where you can showcase your business idea. I know some students have got funding from those and also have gone on to get their business up and running through the work of the enterprise unit. There's also Advice SU. Again, we know that the transition from school to university can be a difficult one sometimes, but Advice SU are there to help you with anything, whether it's money or funding issues, whether it's accommodation issues, your health or well-being, any academic support that you will need. Advice SU are there and they can help you. And that can be done by professionals who work within the service or also through peer-to-peer learning. So you would actually work with some students that are maybe the year above you or in the same year of you, and you can get advice and help from them. But probably the main thing that the union is famous for are the variety of clubs and societies. There are over 200 different clubs and societies that you can join at Queen's, and there are over 11,000 student members involved in those. And when I say there's everything, there really is. Like if we just take a look at this list, if we go to C, the cheerleading club, those girls competed at the World Championships in Florida last year. It's a really great club to get involved with. Dragon Slayers, that is our gaming club. So if anyone's into gaming, probably able to do a lot of gaming in lockdown, you can join the Dragon Slayers club. There's also a history club, juggling. If we go across to Q, Quidditch. Any Harry Potter fans out there, you can join the Quidditch Club at Queen's. There's a robotics society, which is an amazing society. They have loads of different tools and robots that's really interesting to get involved with. And if we go to U there, underwater hockey, who would have thought that there's an underwater hockey team? But they exist in Queen's. And I actually think they compete at quite a high level. So you can certainly get involved in lots of clubs and societies. If there's a club or society that doesn't exist and you would love to get involved in that, you can start your own club and society. The union have the means and the processes in place to allow you to do that and support you through that. And it would mean you would be the chairperson or the president or the social secretary of the club. And that would give you obviously enjoyment and a really good experience, but it would give you an extra level and an extra layer to your CV and something you can talk about when it comes to applying for jobs. We really encourage you, if you can, to internationalise your experience at Queen's. There are so many benefits from doing a wee bit of international travel. Some of your courses may have that already involved within the course, but for those that don't, you are able to maybe take a year out or a few weeks or a full semester, and you can experience what it's like to study in a different university across the world. It allows you to broaden your horizons. It really enriches your experience. Anyone that goes on an international program gets such a good experience from it. And you gain that edge in the job market. If you're able to talk about what you've learned whilst traveling, it looks really good in terms of CVs and interviews. Over 700 Queen's students do some international travel each year. And like I said, you can take either a few weeks or a full month or a semester, all the way up to a full year. This next video is just from a student called Amy. And Amy did some international travel last year, and she's going to talk to you about her experience.
When I applied for Queen's to do law with French, I didn't think my year abroad would make me so much more employable. But from being on it, I can safely say that it's mentioned in every single application form and every single interview. Last year, I spent a year abroad in France. So I went to Toulouse because it's more southern and I like the sun. You don't actually have to just study a language to go away. There's the Erasmus program. Then there's also Study USA. I think I had one friend in New York, another one in Washington. I know another girl who actually went to China. So there's a lot of opportunities of travel. If I'm honest, you think you're independent when you come to university, but you're not independent until you move to another country. It just shows people that you're not afraid to take risks and to throw yourself into new situations. It makes that CV look good.
So Amy mentioned a couple of the programs there, and I want to flag up a few of them. This gives you a scope of all the different programs that are happening across the globe, but a couple of them that are quite popular. We have Study China program, so that allows you to experience Chinese life and culture and the language. It's usually for around 3 to 4 weeks. We also have the Erasmus programs, which are based in European countries, and that allows you to study, work, and often teach. So you can teach younger kids as part of the Erasmus program, and that varies from a few weeks to a full semester. And then we have Study USA, where you would go to America for a full year and study business. Again, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be studying a business degree to fulfill that. It just gives you an extra bit of information. Amy also spoke about how doing her international travel showed that she was independent, and it really helped whenever she was writing CVs. And that is something that we want to help you do at Queen's. We want to help you gain a competitive edge. Everyone is going to be getting a degree, so how can you set yourself apart? One way in which we allow you to do that is through our Degree Plus program. So this allows you to get an accreditation for work-related activities. So that might be things like becoming a campus tour guide, where you would show prospective students and their families around our beautiful campus. Or you could become a student ambassador, where you would go back to your old school and you would tell the students there who are maybe thinking about coming to Queen's what your experience has been like and how much you have enjoyed studying at Queen's. You could also get involved in some of our homework clubs. So there are a number of pupils across Belfast who may not have a support network behind them. And through Degree Plus, you can go to their homework clubs and help them with their homework. There's also a number of leadership skills and business skills programs that you can get involved with. And all of these accredited work-related activities are recognised and supported by employers. Over 2,200 Queen's students will do them every year, and they will tell you about the value of doing a Degree Plus program. And what it physically looks like for you on the day of your graduation is that you will go to your graduation ceremony, you'll get your gown on, and you'll be presented in front of your friends and family with your degree certificate. And that's to say that you've completed all your academic work, but you'll also get presented with a Degree Plus certificate. And that will mean that you're armed to go out into the working world with all that you need to get a really good job. And just as I finish off here, hopefully from what we've said about the facilities and extracurricular activities and what life in Belfast is really like, that you're now really considering making us your firm choice. But just to finish off, a degree from Queen's is so good for you. It is so positive because 96% of our Queen's undergraduates are in employment or full-time study 6 months after they graduate. And on top of that, Queen's graduates, they're getting jobs and they're also excelling in the work that they do. So they're in senior leadership positions in 80 out of Northern Ireland's top 100 companies. Thank you very much for listening. I'm just going to hand back to Radhika now, who will talk you through some of the next steps in terms of making your choice to university.
Thank you for that, Raymond. Well, I hope that you found this presentation really useful. As I said at the start, the whole idea is to give you a feel for life outside of the classroom, outside of your academic work at the university, just to sort of reassure you. We understand it is a difficult time, so we hope that you've had quite a good sort of overall view of what to expect when you do decide to come to Queen's, or you decide to apply to Queen's, or if you've made the decision to apply, to firm up that decision. Those of you that have applied, and if you have any questions, unfortunately, we're not doing a chat at the minute, but please feel free to email us at studentrecruitment@qub.ac.uk. There are other ways to connect with not just us, but also those other students that are already at the university or are in a similar position like yourselves, where you're making a decision of whether to go to university and those difficult choices. Well, social media is a great way to find out and share experiences. And those of you that haven't applied, you know, if you're interested in any of our fantastic 200 undergraduate courses, over 200, may I say, please look at our website, and we hope that that will answer most of your questions. Now, before I finish, I just wanted to sort of remind you that we have a number of seminars or webinars that we are hosting for you. And once again, what we will be doing is looking at each of the areas that Raymond and I have covered today in greater detail. So for example, on the 28th of April, we've got Carl Oakes from Queen's Sport, and he will talk to you about a bit more about, well, just build on what Raymond's talked about and give you a bit more information about sport at Queen's. Michelle Carson from Accommodation will be here to answer all your queries. And all of these are virtual events, so you can jump in and jump out, and there will be opportunities for you to ask your questions then. So I will finish off by urging you to go to our website and book yourself onto these courses. And on behalf of myself and Raymond, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're glad you joined us today, and we'll hopefully see you at Queen's very soon.